Okay, welcome to Wide Open Throttle podcast. I'm Mark and we've got Jake on the phone. We're back for podcast number 2. One thing I'm going to point out from the top is that we've got Jake on the phone at the moment. Say hello, Jake.
Hey, greetings there. How you going?
Going well. Now, the reason Jake is on the phone, and this will probably go on for about 6 weeks, is we're in lockdown again. We've been locked down. We're in stage 4 now, which means we can't even go out the house pretty much. You know, after 8 o'clock at night, we can't. What are the rules? We can't go more than 5 kilometres. We can't work.
Can't work, can't go more than 5 Ks from home, a maximum exercise of 1 hour a day.
And shopping, the same thing too. We can't go shopping for more than an hour. I guess what
your food. Like my wife might be quicker at shopping then. If there's a time limit, that's good.
Well, they can't walk around anymore, like they normally do.
No, you can't do. So,
but you can have a booty call.
You can. The Victorian government have said total lockdown, but I think they want people to keep their love locked down because you can go and do a booty call. So.
And it doesn't matter where you go, what time you go. I think you can go now and go meet someone for a booty call.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. It depends which.
I reckon it's after curfew. I don't think we have to worry about it. I think we can still do it.
I think it depends which way you're swiping, Mark. You're swiping left or right. But, there'll be a strange few weeks for us, but with the technology, we can still push on with the podcast.
And I hope it comes across as well for quality. I mean, it's probably not going to be the best quality. I've got a microphone, of course, in front of me. And Jake's got his, what are you using?
I've got pretty fly for a Wi-Fi here, just my iPhone.
iPhone, have you got the earpiece in or are you just talking into it on loudspeaker?
No, I've got the earpiece in. There's less reception here than a bad wedding, mate.
Wait, there we go. We've got the the sound pad again.
I love that thing. That's good.
Well, we're going to let you, I reckon, kick it off this week. So what I've done is I've left Jake I've given him sort of free reins to the podcast tonight. I might kick in later on with.
So that's dangerous, giving me free rein.
Look, I to be honest, I couldn't think of anything to talk about, and we're only the second podcast in.
No, that's right. I was going to say, I was just thinking back, being always into all things automotive.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, what is the weirdest car event that I've been to? And I thought, I've been to a few, speedways, demolition derbies, sprint cars, drag racing, track days, truck racing. But the weirdest would have to be, I don't know if you've ever been to one of these, an engine blow up.
No, I've never been into. I've never heard of it.
No, my dad took me. He's a bigger petrol head than I am, but he took me to an engine blow up. So it was basically an acreage, a guy's backyard down in Pearcedale, and they had about 10 acres there. And you bring along your old engine, and whatever engine runs the longest wins the money. So there were, this brick on the, some was still in the car, so brick on the accelerator.
I was going to say, you must have to put a brick on the accelerator and just move away.
And move away, but there's a few that just went forever and ever and ever, and they've had the petrol and that running through it, but they've had, obviously, they drain the oil and stuff to make them, shorten the lifespan. But some of these things, but it really turned into a bit of a hillbilly event. They had a Cummins diesel, so it's like a truck engine.
Yep.
And they call it was a V8, so they call it the 903 because it's 903 cubic inches, which is, I don't know, probably a 15-litre or so V8 truck engine. And it had the flywheel was still attached.
Oh, dear.
They had it on a stand by itself. They fired this thing up, no mufflers or anything. And everyone thought, shit, we ran for cover because if the flywheel come off, it would go through you and kill you. But really, really bizarre event. And I did remember see a few pistons going through blocks and flying through the air. I think people, these days, OH&S, you couldn't have anything like that. But it was that was an eye opener. That's probably the weirdest car event that I've been to. I don't know if anyone else out there has been to any automotive event that's strange like that.
How many people would turn up to something like that?
There's probably 100 people there that had like a big land on a spit going. Everyone was drinking the stubbies, and it was a little bit loose.
So a lot of VB, I'm assuming. VB, maybe a bit of...
Yeah, I was probably 8 or 9 or something at the time going along for it.
Was that your first beer?
Oh, no, I still don't drink. I still don't like beers. No, I don't get into the beers, mate.
Right, okay.
No, the Scotch drinker, but that's later in life, not that age.
Yeah, as you got older, more mature now.
Yeah, the old engine blow up. I don't know if anything like that still goes on. But
yeah, I can't think of anything like it. I know you got the tractor pull and everything down in was that
tractor pull?
Turadin?
Yeah, I've been to all those too. They were good.
I've been to the sprint cars and everything. You know, where you're on a dirt track, I think it is, and as the cars go around, or sprint cars go around, they kick up all the dirt like little clinkers. Remember the chocolate? You get hit by as they go around. You get hit by them. That was probably the best part of it.
Oh, I love it. You see all the families that have been there the first time. They see a big vacant patch on the fence. They go, "Oh, this is a great spot." And you know why? No one's sitting there because they're going to get covered. They're going to get covered in mud, mate.
You get peppered by them too because they're like sort of bullet.
yeah. Motorsport's always been pretty big in the Australian culture, I guess, over the years in relation to motorsport.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't have to spend a fortune to get into it, to enjoy it.
So for motorsport, you mean like what? Like track?
In general.
Okay.
So like track days and whatnot. A lot of people are into cars. They might have a car that they've spent a bit of money on that they enjoy driving, but never get a chance to take it out to see what it can do. And you don't have to spend a lot of money. I've done a lot of stuff with the Porsche Club Victoria and stuff like that at that level. But at the other end, I was invited last year to Tasmania. They've got a great little track there at Baskerville. A lot of twists and turns, very short track, but really technical. And the Hobart Sporting Car Club, they had an event on called the Baskerville 1000. So it's a 6-hour regularity. So 6 hours of running the car. So, it has to be pretty reliable, but the kicker is the car couldn't be worth more than $1,000.
Okay, it's pretty cool.
So they try and keep it cheap. So my dad, he invited me over with his mate to do it. So I flew over there and we had a stint each in the car, and they had it was a Holden Astra, the manual 2-door one. They picked up for $800. It had some hail damage. And I thought, it'll be a bit of fun, but, it's not going to be, the car's not going to be that good and whatnot, but you can do whatever you want to the car and getting it ready without spending too much on it. But, just stripped it out, just had not even a racing seat or anything, and it was bloody good fun. Lap after lap, we had a camera in there, and I really enjoyed it. I was surprised how the car actually went, the little Astra. But,
and how old?
Yeah, we were.
How old were you this time? You weren't 8.
No, this was last year, mate.
Oh, okay.
This was last year.
See, we just missed like a whole lifetime of Jake. You
missed the whole life.
Maybe 15 years.
No, skip straight to the. I'm just thinking of the cheap motorsport that you can get into sometimes. But it was really well organised, really well run. Like there was a lot of cars. It was over Saturday and Sunday. They had to divide it up. And there was that many entries.
What could you win? Could you win anything? Like you just get a little trophy at the end of it?
Oh, look. There's just the trophy, but it was on the local TV there and everything. We were on the news. We were on the 6 o'clock news there. But down in the old Tassie.
You haven't done a Targa or anything?
No, it's quite expensive as
a lot
far
of money.
As I know. But you may be a bit later down the track when the kids get a bit older to do a Targa or something like that. You can do. There's different levels, so you don't have to do a professional level, but
no, you can just follow behind. Yeah,
some are limited, where they limit the car to like 130 or whatnot.
Okay,
but that's still plenty of speed in those really tight little roads. But yeah, great driving roads down there in Tassie. If you ever want to do a road trip, it's great to take a nice car down there and lots of technical twists and turns. But yeah, that event, that was a great event. It was really well run. And I think they're going to make it a regular thing every year. So we'll probably find another car to do it too and see what happens. I think the guy was in the AU that won the race in the end. But,
so you had an Astra with, was it hail damage?
Yeah, hail damage was $800.
Would have made it quicker, a bit like a golf ball with all the little dents all over it.
Oh, yeah, it was a 4-cylinder. It was a good little. That was a great event. You painted the car. I had racing stripes on it and whatnot. But
I'll
put some pictures up on the Instagram when we get that fired up.
Yeah, that'd be pretty. I mean, I'd love to get involved in some of that. Like I said that last week, a little bit. I've got the RX-8 I do want to get that ready for the track. I reckon that'd be pretty cool. Taking it to a couple of track days. Yeah, it's a cheap car. It's probably due to blow up anytime soon anyway. So why not annoy people on the track, I guess, by putting oil across it? No, I'm trying not to do that, but yeah.
Yeah, but then, something like that would be good fun. You could get that car prepared fairly easily to do a few track days.
Yeah, there was a video I was watching last night, Moddy Car Mods.
Yeah,
they just did one about what you need to take on a track day, and they've made a whole list. You can print it off as a PDF and sort of tick it off as you go. So all the things like, just everything from tools, WD-40 to, a little seat, because you're going to be sort of sitting out there while you're racing.
Yeah, checking pressures and all that stuff.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
But, no, it definitely was good. And with that regularity one, you had to nominate your time. So you have to nominate a time that you're going to circulate in. So if you were faster than the time, you'd lose points. So it was really hard to try and keep a consistent lap time between three different drivers.
I have seen that. It's not the fastest time. You got to stay, the competition is to stay as close as you can to the time you posted. Or that you said you would.
It's much harder than you think it would be.
Yeah, it's put it on cruise.
Much harder than you think it would be. But I've done a few of those with the Porsche Club as well, and especially in the old 944. It was pretty easy to maintain the same time if you just keep it flat out. But some of the other cars, it's a bit trickier when you've got a lot of power.
And we were talking about your 944. You sold your 944 a long time ago. How long ago?
Probably nearly 3 years ago.
And you saw it advertised again?
I saw it advertised. It popped up this week on car sales. Any
different than when you had it?
Yeah, it looks pretty much the same, but the Martini racing stripes have gone. They did look good. The ones I got genuine.
Okay.
And it's advertised. I read the fine print. It now has an LSD in it, which it really did need, because when I had it, it used to spin the inside wheel, especially like Sandown coming onto the back straight, that left-hander.
Yeah.
Used to spin the inside wheel, and but even when I had it, it had 300,000 on the clock, and I was still running around Sandown in 1 minute 30 flat, which is fairly respectable. But now it's got a freshened up engine and LSD, still with the half roll cage and the R-Spec tyres on it. That'd be a good little rocket.
And did they post any times with it, or are they trying to say that it's not a track car, or?
Oh, no, I was saying it's built for the track, but they didn't post any. They didn't post any times for that car. But
were you tempted to buy it back?
I was tempted, but I think we'll just hold off at the moment with this COVID environment.
They're locked down again.
Locked down again. There's nothing open in Victoria anyway that you can do at the moment. So.
No, you can't do anything. Yeah, haven't been able to do anything for a while.
No, well, I couldn't even go. If I did buy the car, I couldn't even go and pick it up.
Where is it?
It's a long way, I believe.
Okay, yeah, too far.
So it's a long way away. Yeah,
it's going to be 5Ks. You could have done it.
Yeah, it's 5Ks in dog years.
What else you got on your list?
On my list, just saying that some of the Japanese cars have started to increase in value as well. I know, of course, Aussie muscle cars are always going up in value. Air-cooled Porsches, things like that. But now the next thing that all the millennials and stuff are getting into is the Japanese limited edition cars. So I noticed during the week, Honda Civic Type R, 20-year-old car, mind you, sold for 101,000 Australian dollars during the week.
I didn't
Honda
see that.
Civic Type R.
I didn't see that. Would it be white as well, would it?
No, it's black with the white wheels.
Okay.
It's the first Type R that they had.
Yeah,
the 2000 model.
Yeah.
2000 model Type R. Same as the ones in Fast and Furious. So it's EK9 series, they call it.
101,000.
$101,000. Yeah, 7.64 million yen.
Wow. But what? No, are they all that kind of price? What are they going for over here?
I wouldn't think so.
Would it be low kilometres or a special model that they had, or I don't know. I'd have to have a look at it.
It's 2,549 kilometres on the clock. So it is like a new car.
Correct.
But still, that's a lot of dosh for a little Honda. It's got nice Recaro red seats in it and whatnot. But some of that stuff, before they go up too much, it'd be good to get on board, like some of the forgotten cars. Like the 300ZX is still a little bit unloved. And they were a good car, the little BQ30s, the twin turbo. You can still get those for around 20 grand if you can find a good one.
Yeah, but I think maybe we've missed the boat on that. Like, if you look at the prices of those,
I think we have missed the boat. You're right. Yeah.
What was I was looking the other day. Remember the 3000 GT, the Mitsubishi?
Oh, the Mitsubishi. They were pretty ahead of their time. Those things.
No, I saw there was a post only a couple of weeks ago. I saw, and there was possibly a 4000 GT coming out, or it was a concept car that Mitsubishi have done.
Okay.
I'll have to send you a link to it. It looked really cool. You could definitely see the 3000 GT from it.
Yeah.
But it looked pretty cool. I thought, it'd be good if they did it. They'd sell them, like the NSX when that came back for a lot of money, mind you. But yeah.
The 3000 GT that came out in 1990.
I remember a mate of mine used to drive one to school in year 12. He was
really,
he turned 18 and his dad had one, and he'd let him drive it in. At the time, I didn't know what it was. I kind of went, it's like a Ferrari or something.
Well, that looked a little bit like a Ferrari, didn't it? The way the styling with
and a nice bright red too. It had a bit of an orange in the red. I don't know what you call it, but it looked pretty cool. But then the other car, he'd come in a Lotus Esprit as well. Was it? He'd rock up in one of those as well. So he obviously had a bit of coin.
He must have had a bit of coins in the piggy bank for those.
Or his dad did anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any around at the moment on the market. There's the 3000 GT, but
the 3000 GT was a Aussie delivered car, wasn't it? Because it was a GDO. If you got the import, is that correct?
Yeah,
I think it was.
GTO. Yeah, known as a GTO globally.
Yep.
And in the US, they were branded as a Dodge. Believe it or not, a Dodge Stealth.
And can't use a GDO here because of, I'd assume, Holden?
Possibly, yeah. Probably Holden, or they might have already had that name.
Someone would have had it registered and they couldn't use it over here.
Yeah. But, interesting car. It didn't really attract the status of like a Supra or a Skyline, I guess. But probably it's a good car in its own right, I suppose.
Well, they definitely they looked apart. If you wanted to get a car that... Yeah. You look $1 million in it. Well, that was the one.
The old Mitsubishi.
Yep.
Mrs. Bitchy, whatever you want to call it. But, so that was interesting during the week to see that price of that little Honda.
Yeah, I mean, look, every now and again you see a car go for a lot of money. I don't know who buys them. Obviously, someone buying from nostalgia. They see something they had when they were a boy, or they wanted the car when they were young and couldn't afford it, and they'll pay well over the odds for it.
So, what are the worst car mods you've seen, or when you were younger? I'm sure you would have seen a few mods. Maybe you thought it was good at the time, but now you say, why the hell would you do that for?
So you're asking me what I've seen?
Yeah. What do you think?
Probably the silliest one was a mate of mine rocked up at my house probably about 10 or 11 o'clock at night, as you do, because you didn't have phones at the start of it. You just sort of rock up and you could hear the car coming from sort of a couple of kilometres away, and that was your way of knowing your friend was coming over. You'd hear the car, you'd be like, I recognise the exhaust. And I remember one night he rocked up, it must have been like 10:30 at night, and he says to me, he says, Mark, he goes, the car's got a problem. I go, what's wrong? He goes, I've got a lot of smoke coming from the back tyre area.
Yeah.
I go, what have you done? He goes, no, nothing. He goes, I had the car lowered today. He goes, I'm driving around. He goes, whenever I bump and all of a sudden it's smoking.
Cheers.
And I go, give me a look. I go, what have you done? So I sort of put my head under it. It'd been dropped a lot. Like it was a little Daihatsu Charade Di Tommaso. I don't know if you ever know what. Remember those? It was like an import with little grey vents on it and everything. It looked pretty cool. And so I put my head under the back, and they'd cut the springs.
Oh, okay, jeez.
Yeah, so what he'd done is he'd gone over the railway line, and the spring had come unseated, and it was rubbing on the inside of the tyre, and it had almost worn through the whole tyre. He'd driven over to me. It was smoking and making a noise the whole way over, and I lived probably 5 kilometres from him.
Far out.
Yeah, and that was probably the silliest thing I saw anyone do. I'm trying to think what else. No, I said that's probably one of the silliest things. What about yourself?
Just a few of the friends back in the day. The neon light thing was a bit of a fad. See how many neon lights you can get under the car. But sometimes it worked all right. I did it on my Series 2 RX-7 for a little bit. I had blue neons under there, but they were all done properly, like hidden underneath it. Yeah. You only turn it on occasionally.
Yeah, because the police were really on it. Sort of
they're really onto it, yeah.
Yeah, nowadays you see it all the time.
But I had a friend with the standard EA Falcon, like an 88 model with the Asthmatic 3.9 Carby motor with the 3-speed auto. Neons taped to the outside, man. It was pretty dodgy.
Oh, what else was it? You had the, what are they called? Tyre flies. Remember what the tyre flies were?
Was that in the valve caps?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so when you drove, they obviously used the kinetic energy to spin up and they light up and you'd see the rings around the tyre would light up as well. Again, cop bait, anything like that was cop bait. I never did it. I think the worst I did was the RX-7 Series 1 was green. I remember I had this bright idea to turn the front parking lights green I pulled the bulbs out and I dipped the bulbs in green paint. It worked for like a day until the sun, so it gets on them, and then it just sort of wore off over time, but it looked pretty cool for one night.
Oh, I remember a friend did that on his VP Commodore. He did one red and one blue.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Drive behind people at night, flash the high beams, but when the high beams dip, you see the blue and red lights. People used to pull over. I said, you're going to get yourself a lot of strife doing that.
I had a mate of mine he was a CFA volunteer firefighter, and he would put the red light from a bike, the flashing one, from the back of a bike. He would put that on his dashboard, and he'd go through red lights on the way to a fire. He'd listen to the scanner. And he would drive there, put the red light on like it was just a bicycle. And he goes through headlights. He goes through red lights all the time.
What a goose.
he never got caught doing it, but I thought, one day you will.
Yeah. Well, there's always a few people like that around. And then what's another one I did? When I had the VL, I did the old tint the rear tail lights with the spray can you get from Autobahn. That was pretty.
There's a tint in a can.
Pretty dodgy. The VL tail lights didn't work properly at the best of times.
Yeah, no, I've done that before as well. And then you can't see your brake lights through the back of them, and people.
You can't see anything. No. There's dodgy modifications.
Trying to think of other. Oh, do you know what? I was pretty good at this. I was pretty good at pulling panels off dashboards, like different parts of it, and painting it. Like I put a lot of effort into it. So I did my mate's cars and I did my car. It was like I'd paint, was it an MX-6 Mazda? And I remember painting the whole dashboard. It kind of goes along behind the cluster. It comes down by the gearbox and down to where the center console is.
Yeah.
And I remember painting it in like silver, and then I would clear coat it and it would be like this metallic silver. It looked really cool. Then I did that DT Master little GT stripe. I did the red with like a silver GT stripe.
Oh, yeah.
And sort of got used to doing it. And, that kind of turned out all right. But they were sort of good. They were okay. They were tasteful mods.
Yeah.
Don't know how tasteful they'd be now. Although, no, in saying that, Porsche still allow you to do it. That you can paint your panels inside the colour of the outside of the car. So, look, I was ahead of my time back then.
Well, you were. You missed the market.
I never charged a cent for it too. I probably should have.
Too early. Oh, yeah. People would like a bit of custom jobs. But, you see some pretty dodgy stereo installations, I'm sure, over your time.
Yeah, that was my job. Do you know that?
You said that a while ago, yeah.
Yeah, I used to work at Strathfield Car Radio for, 3.5 years, electronic installer, so do sort of alarms, stereos, custom jobs. I used to enjoy doing that because it'd take you, a few weeks to do it.
Yeah, it'd be good fun.
Yeah, sort of enjoyed doing it. And, you see some dodgy wiring. No fuse is probably the biggest thing I saw. Like people would run this big, thick power cable from the front battery all the way to the boot, going underneath the seat and through the panels, and there's not a single fuse on there. And I'm like, you idiot. Like, all you need is one bit of metal to poke through, and you've earthed it and created this fire hazard.
Yeah, I was probably one of the culprits, actually, when I've always liked to have a good stereo, but I didn't have a lot of patience.
Yep.
I remember I had flying around the corner one day, he was clunk, the amplifier had duct tape down in the boot. I didn't have any screws. I think it was a ZL Fairlane, Ford Fairlane, big tank. And then I hear this, what the hell is that? It was the 4-gauge wire earthing out against the LPG tank in the back. I'm like, holy shit,
dear.
that's not good. That's not good.
Well, look, I think you reminded me of a few other things I've sort of done over the time now that I think about it. Like I remember installing a race seat in one of my cars years ago too. I put a block of wood under one part of it, like one of them, and the seat was like always wonky and it was just resting on a bit of block of wood. I could have drove around like that for a couple of years. Never got caught, never got pulled over, never had an accident in that car, thank God.
Sorry, you reckon you'd be flying off timber through your...
Yeah, I wouldn't have come off good. It's just a 2x4 under the seat, holding it to the floor.
You see a few of that when they in the news where they had the big roadworthy blitzes, and I think I've seen one guy had a pair of vice grips as a steering wheel.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I see, steering wheel just on the centre nut.
Yeah, just there was no steering wheel. There was just
on the column.
A pair of vice grips.
God, can you imagine?
They're out there, some of these people.
I was one of them.
Well, sometimes, people that are into cars like ourselves see a problem with a car and then leave it because you're too lazy or, you'll get around to it. I remember when I had that XD with the 351, I also had a little Celica to run around because it's cheap to run.
Yeah.
A rear-wheel drive Celica, but...
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
It was a nice car, like a 79 model or 80 model.
Yeah, it's a cool-looking shape.
Yeah, the square headlights, RA40 they called it.
Yep.
But that was good fun. Used to do the backfiring key bangers in that thing, blow flames out.
What do you do? You turn it off and rev the...
No, you turn the ignition off and you pump the accelerator 2 or 3 times and you turn the ignition back on. That shoots a huge flame out the back.
Yeah, I mucked up. I tried doing that once, and as I rocked up to a friend's house, I thought, this would be cool. I'm going to do the same thing, turn the car off, rev the motor a few times, turn it back on again. I turned it back one too many clicks, and it locked the steering up, and I was going around a bend. I shot up the driveway onto his lawn, and his dad didn't like anyone being on the lawn, and I swear to God, it was so lucky it was a driveway.
Oh shit! I did it one too many times, and the muffler blew out and exploded.
No good.
Remember that car? The fuel gauge didn't work. The fuel sensor was broken.
Yep.
So I had a bamboo stick that I used to dip in the fuel filler neck, so I could dip it in and see what level the car was at.
Well, you just use your odometer to try and work out roughly how far you could go.
No, but that was broken too. So yeah, it was broken. My wife and I think we were a lot younger back then, but we broke down out the front of the Kittens strippers where it was back then in Frankston at the top.
Of course you broke down. You didn't park it there, did you?
Right at the front there. No, we were together and it cut out of fuel. I didn't read the stick properly, and it was really embarrassing because there was a whole queue of guys out the front waiting to get into the Kittens. And Kelly's like, I'll get these guys to help us push. I'm like, no way. So I just put it in second, turned the ignition over on the starter motor, and that got enough momentum to get it down the hill to the petrol station at the other side of the hill there. Using
the starter motor to move the car along?
Yeah, I'm not going to get out and push, mate. Forget it.
I remember I broke it sounds like we're telling war stories, doesn't it? We're just going over one little thing that we remember at a time. Like I remember...
Yeah, just popping back up.
I had a Suzuki Swift GTI 93 model, and the clutch,
pocket rocket.
Yeah, the clutch was real heavy. And I don't know if I told this last week. I was in Richmond. I'd finished working, and I put my foot down, and the clutch cable broke.
Oh, shit.
So I had to wait until the traffic died down after peak hour, and I drove all the way home, just starting it in first gear, and then just sort of revving it past, crash boxing it back into every gear.
Oh, yeah.
And I drove all the way back. I probably drove 45 kilometres on the freeway. Yeah, it wasn't bad, but it was freeway most of the way, so you just had to get it started. And I used, the starter motor just to get it to move along because I was on my own.
Oh, yeah, just to get it going.
Yeah. Yeah. Floor the accelerator at the same time.
Do it that way. I'm just going to see what best speeding excuses were that you might have heard of or may have used yourself. I've used quite a few over the years. Hasn't always worked. But There'd be a fair few out there of elaborate excuses for.
I don't think I've used many excuses. I don't think I've been caught that many times.
Oh, gee.
You know, I got pulled over. When was that? I had the WRX. I remember I'd taken off at the lights next to a VW Golf, and he wanted to go. So I'm like, yeah, we'll give it a go. So I booted it off, and he didn't go. And I went, oh, that's a bit odd. And then realised there was a cop right behind me.
Oh, okay.
And he followed me up over the hill down towards Fowling Gate, and he put the lights on. And I had gone over the speed limit, only by about 10 Ks, not a lot. And he was in it was a weird thing. I reckon it was only 5 years ago. But he was in like a Ford Falcon, but it was an old Ford Falcon wagon.
Okay.
I don't know if it was a BA or something, but it was it had police stickers all over it. And anyway, he pulled me over and he asked me what I was doing, you know, why. I said, the guy next to me baited me. He wanted me to go. I didn't see you there, so I took off. And he just sort of looked at me and went, he goes, you know, you went over the speed limit. I go, yeah, I do. I said, look. He goes, and the next thing he said shocked me. He goes, look, had I had a camera in the car, he goes, I would have fined you. I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, look, I don't have any speed equipment in the car. He goes, I can't find you. I don't have a camera in the car. There's no speed. He just sort of said, there's nothing I can do. I thought, I go, it's weird. I sort of questioned him. I go, can't you just book me based on, you know, how fast you were going to how fast I looked like I was going? He goes, it's not worth it. No. And I probably spoke a bit too much. I just should have, you know, shut up about it.
Yeah, what are you trying to do? Talk yourself into one?
Yeah, I was a bit, I don't know. I was a bit taken by surprise, I think. What about yourself?
Yeah. Probably the best one was that I was testing the cruise control. So I was in that same XD with the 351 on Nepean Highway, just past Moorabbin, near the police station there, over South Road, gave it a bit. Next thing I get picked up, geez, you know, what's your excuse for speeding? I said, sorry, it's got an aftermarket cruise control in it, which it did. I said, I pressed resume and the thing took off. I said, I'm not used to it. I'm not used to this car. And he goes, you're just showing off to the young lady. I said, no, she's not interested in cars. I said, no.
Who is that? Who was in the car?
I was Kelly again.
Yeah.
And I said, that was, you're just testing this cruise control out. He said, okay, well, you know, don't do it again.
And he let you off.
That's lucky.
You got away with that one?
Yeah, and the second one was in that RX-7 Series 2.
Yeah.
Flying through up near past Frankston Hospital.
Okay.
In the 60 zone. I was probably doing 80 or 90 and they picked me up. That's the one that had the Rego Cop 991. And they said, I said, look, I've just got the car. It's new. I said, the previous car I had was just an old beat-up XT Falcon and I'm not used to this sports car. And they let me off there too. And they had a good chat about the car and the number plate. And little did they know that XT was a 5.8. It wasn't an old bomb. It was a
he's thinking, just a six-cylinder, you know.
Yeah, but I think my glasses work well for me. It gives you a bit of an innocent kind of a look.
Yeah, you kind of don't look like the person that'd be speeding.
No. So I've been lucky over the times, I guess.
And have you been fined for speeding? You've been caught as well?
Oh yeah, I've had a lot of speeding fines. Not recently, but over the years I've probably had 10 to 12, maybe more speeding fines, I guess.
I don't think I've had that many. I can't think of anything.
Been fined for nothing else, just speeding, but yeah.
Yeah, I've had fines and stuff, you know, for parking and not paying for a ticket and stuff like that. I don't think I've had many speeding tickets at all. I can't think of any.
That's good.
Off the top of my head, which is pretty good. I've been driving for now, you know, I know, 24 years, give or take, 23, 24 years.
That's not bad. Probably the best one was in a Boxster. I was stationary at the light to turn right into this street. Gave it a bit. It was a 987 Series 2. Bang, bang through the gears. And they were coming over the hill on the other side and pulled me over and said, the thing here says 89 Ks. Were you coming from straight across the other side of the road? I said, no, I was turning right from the light stationary. And they go, you couldn't have been going that quick. I said, no, how am I going to go that short distance that far? And they said, it must be a problem with the gear. But no, it was right.
It was you.
It was me, yeah. It was the car. But, yeah.
I got pulled over for and fined, mind you, for driving in the right lane. Okay.
Good. So you should be.
Yeah.
So you should be.
No, well, look, in my defence, I was driving to my mate's house. I had to turn right somewhere up ahead probably about 10
Oh, okay.
kilometres ahead.
Oh, geez.
And
You plan ahead, geez.
did you know what it was? He was annoyed at me because I did something. I cut him off. I didn't realise it was a cop car, and I pulled onto the Bass Highway, and I just sort of booted off.
Yeah.
And he had to swap lanes because of me doing it.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
I think he kind of got the shits. He was an undercover cop car. So I went, and I saw him and then realised what I'd done. So I just sat in the right lane going where I was going. I didn't think about the speed limit. So I sat there going, I'm just going to sit on the speed limit. I'm going to show this guy, he ain't going to get me for anything. And then
you're a citizen, yeah.
Yeah, and then bang, he puts the lights on. I go, all right, here we go. What have I done now? Like, surely hitting, what have I done?
Yeah.
Anyway, sitting in the right lane. I just kind of, when he told me, I went, idiot. And he goes, why are you doing that? I said, I've got to turn up here somewhere. I just couldn't remember where about it was. He goes, I've been following you for 5 kilometres.
Really, geez.
Yeah, he did. He followed me. He waited for me to do something wrong, and that was obviously part of it. And he had to follow me for a certain distance and observe me.
Oh, okay.
Observe me. So and that was it. He got me. And that was, I think I lost maybe 2 or 3 points on that too. It's like a 2 points and maybe a couple of $100 fine as well, like $211 fine.
Oh, far out. So you actually got a fine?
Yeah, because he was annoyed at me cutting him off earlier in traffic, and he just kind of waited for me to do something wrong. And I thought, I forgot. I forgot about sitting in the right lane over 80 k's an hour.
You need to invest in a pair of glasses.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
I've got them only wear them at night time, mate.
Okay.
This was daytime. I was going fishing.
Geez. Well, you baited him anyway.
I'll try to see whether that went over my head, but hang on. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but there we go. I'm sure there was something there.
Yeah, no, this is a fishing pun. That's all right.
Oh, it was too. Yeah, there we go. I knew I missed it.
Yeah, you got reeled in, didn't you? Yeah, you did.
You're an idiot. All right, what are we doing now? Do you want me to do a quiz?
We do a quiz? Yeah.
You got time for that?
Let's do a quiz. We've got time for that.
Okay, now some of it is visual, so I don't know how we're going to do that, but I'm going to read through. There's probably, I don't know how many questions there are. There's probably 10 or 20. But let's give it a go. I've got to find it now.
The quiz maestro.
Yeah, have you heard of Drive Tribe?
Drive Tribe, yeah, they're a tribe out in remote Africa, aren't they?
You're an idiot.
No?
No, it's like a forum website.
You know,
you do know it. All right, good. You know what it is. Do you know who started it? And this isn't part of the quiz. It's just to see if you know.
No, I don't. James May?
Yeah, correct. All 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they started the website.
Okay,
yeah, so they've basically got it, and they put a lot of car stories on there, quizzes, which I love to do myself, and sort of go, I got 50% or 60% or something. Now I'll see if I can do this one for you because some of it's a visual. We're going to go with the first one. Now, both of these Mercedes have a special type of door called, and it's got a Mercedes-Benz, was it an SLS, and there's a 300 SL. Now, the choices are, you got 3 choices, and let me go through them.
Yep.
Scissor doors, gull-wing doors, or butterfly doors.
Gull-wing doors.
All right, so we're going to lock that in, Eddie?
Lock it in.
We'll lock that one in. Yeah, we got that one correct. That was quite an easy one. The open-top version of the LaFerrari is known as the FXXK Evo, LaFerrari Aperta, or LaFerrari Speciale.
The first one, the XX, whatever it bloody was.
For the open-top version of a LaFerrari?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that one. I know it's wrong, but it's the Aperta.
Okay.
You haven't heard that before? No, it's all right.
No.
All right, there we go. Now,
not into Italian cars, but
introduced 4 months before 1965, what car's earliest models are known as the 1964 and a half models?
Probably the one that's every second car on the road at the moment.
The Pontiac GTO, the Porsche 911, or the Ford Mustang?
The Ford Mustang. They had the 64 and a half model.
There we go. You know it. All right, cool. You got that one?
Yeah.
Mercedes teamed up with what car company to create the SLR? Aston Martin, McLaren, or Pagani?
McLaren, that was.
You know that one there? That's was it McLaren Mercedes?
That's a cool looking car.
It is a good
really
one.
Cool car.
Okay, now this one, I'm going to have to explain what this one is. Maybe you might know what it is, but it's this six-wheel pickup truck by Hennessy is called the G63 Velociraptor or the S6S Raptor.
Velociraptor.
You know that one too, yeah, that one's it.
Yeah, I've heard of that thing.
It's a big bloody thing. How big is it?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
I did get that one, by the way. All right. In 1939, what automaker created this one-off racing airplane known as the Model 100? Rolls-Royce, Bugatti, or BMW? I'll give you a clue. It's like and I don't know what, it's a light blue plane.
Light blue? We go with
that's
BMW?
Well, the light blue might hint you one way. So you got Rolls-Royce. You reckon BMW? Okay.
Yeah.
It was the Bugatti. Remember the Bugatti EB110?
Bugatti.
And they did it in that light blue as well. I don't know what colour it's called, but yeah. All right. Now, the Koenigsegg 1.1 got its name from the production number 1 of 1, the price to power ratio, its power to weight ratio.
It'd have to be power to weight, wouldn't it? It'd have to be.
Are we locking that in?
Yeah.
All right, we'll lock it in. Yeah, you got that one.
Beautiful.
Now, Skoda is based in what country? Norway, Denmark, or the Czech Republic?
It's going to be Czech, mate.
All right, we lock it in?
Yeah.
Checkmate, you idiot.
You going to check it?
Yeah, no, I already got it. Wait.
Well, you did, yes.
There you go. Give me 2 of them this time.
Jeez, that's generous, very generous.
All right. What about this one surprised me too. About what percentage of Rolls Royces are still available or still on the road today? 24%, 81%, or 75%?
They're probably well maintained because they're expensive cars to begin with. So I'd have to go with the 75%.
Okay, let's lock it in. We're correct on that one too. Well, you are.
Beautiful.
Now, the inventor of cruise control was homeless, blind, or trying to make a time machine.
Oh, geez, he got me out of a speeding fine. That's for sure. I'll go with blind. And
that one's correct as well. Did you know that one?
Blind. I've heard it, but I don't know if it was true.
This one's gonna be hard. I kind of need to send you a picture of this one. Let me take a photo. I'm going to send this to you, and I'll read it out to you too.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
So that might be a good idea because it's a visual one. Okay, tell me when you receive this one.
Waiting for it to come through.
Okay, well, while we wait, this is what car company's technology center. Now, it's got a picture of a big center from above, like an aerial photography. It's in a round circle. Yeah. It's got a big lake out the front of it.
Nice.
Kind of looks like, the yin-yang shape from the top. Now, you've got Nissan, Zenvo, and McLaren.
Okay, it does look like a yin-yang kind of a setup, but the garden looks very, very neat. It does look Japanese styled, so I'd probably have to go with the Nissan.
Okay, well, I knew this one anyway because I've seen a lot of videos on it recently. It's actually the McLaren.
McLaren?
Yeah,
oh, really?
In the UK, yeah.
It's a nice looking place.
Now, what car has an optional shag carpet on the dashboard?
Okay, on the dash.
Yeah, on top. There's a little circle of it on top. Now, Chrysler PT Cruiser, Nissan Cube, or the Fiat Multipla?
Oh, it sounds really bizarre. So I'd probably go with the Nissan Cube. That's a really bizarre kind of a car.
Yeah, you got it. It's a weird looking thing. I don't know why you need it on top.
No, well, you send the car for a Brazilian. You wouldn't need it.
Ford won its first Le Mans in 1964, 1966, and 1962.
I'd say 66 after I got that program started.
Okay. Well, there we go. We got that one correct as well.
Oh.
Okay, so Carroll Shelby won Le Mans as a driver in 1959 in what car? A Maserati Birdcage, the Daytona, or the Aston Martin DBR1?
Say the Daytona.
Okay, Shelby Daytona. It's wrong. Aston Martin DBR1.
Aston Martin. Okay, so he's driving those.
Yeah, he was, I believe, early on, yeah. Now, can I do this one? All right, U.S. President
pretty cool.
Lyndon B. Johnson used to pull what prank on unknowing passengers with his amphicar? So it's like an amphibious car.
Oh, okay, so you can drive on the water.
Yes. So it's got a picture of him in the back of the car on it. But now, pretend the engine cut out in the middle of the lake, rock back and forth in an attempt to flip the amphicar over, and pretend the brakes had failed and ram it into the lake.
Probably the last one. That's what I'd do. That'd be a bit of fun.
Yeah, that's what I can do. All right, yeah, that was correct.
Imagine that. That'd be cool.
Lamborghini selfishly created only one of this one-seater car for themselves called the Terzo Millennio, Egoista, or the Pregunta.
Oh, the first one, but I can't pronounce it.
Terzo Millennio.
Yeah.
It's not correct. It was Egoista.
Really?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
I think, and I could be wrong, obviously something to do with ego, being a one-seater Lamborghini, one of one. Now, which American car in 2007 topped the Veyron 16.4 as the fastest production car in the world? Saleen S7, Hennessy Venom GT, or the SSC Ultimate Aero Double T? Or TT?
It was the Hennessy, it was.
Okay. No, it was the last one.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, because I actually thought it was a Venom GT, the Hennessy Venom as well, because it's a that's the Lotus, isn't it? It's kind of a longer, wider Lotus.
Yeah, that's
from what it looks
power.
like. It shares the same body.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, here's and I think the final one. Which of these car companies is not a part of the Volkswagen Group? You should get this one.
Oh, you should do.
Skoda, Seat. Is it Seat? Seat?
Yeah, Seat. Yeah. Seat. That's how you say it. Yeah.
Audi, Bentley, Rolls-Royce, or Bugatti?
Oh, Rolls-Royce.
Correct. I knew you'd get that one. That was an easy one. All right, that was it. So what did we get? You got 80%.
Not too bad.
That was pretty good.
Too bad. Yeah.
I thought it was all right.
Tricky ones in there. Pretty tricky ones in there.
Yeah, I think a couple of visual ones that you kind of needed to see as well, and there's only so much we can do with that.
Yeah.
We're not
Except the one about the one about the cruise control, the blind guy. That wasn't a visual one.
You should have pretended when you got pulled over by the police officer that you were blind.
From those rumours that was it Stevie Wonder can see, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I showed you that. When he catches the microphone, it falls and he sort of leans out and catches it. Well, we'll not look at it. I was a bit odd. I thought, oh, come on. Yeah. I reckon that might be right.
He's highly skilled, mate.
All right, I'm trying to work out the pun on that one.
I don't know. You didn't see it coming, did you?
Oh, you're an idiot.
Maybe he did. I've seen in car news this week, BMW is to debut remote start via phone. Do you think that's a useful technology, or do you think that's a bit of a wank factor?
Oh, it's definitely wank factor. Why would you want that?
I don't know. I mean,
so what? So you start it before you're in the car, like you're not in the car. So like the old remote start on the old alarms years ago. Okay, the problem with that is I remember when I worked again back at Strathville Car Radio, a friend of mine had a Honda Civic which he'd installed one of those in it, right? The old remote start. And because we were close enough to the car park, he accidentally started it from when the key was in his pocket.
Oh, okay.
And the car sat there idling half a day and it overheated. So by the end of the day, he went out to get his car or to jump in the car and go. The car was just a big puddle of water everywhere.
Oh, geez.
So could you imagine if you'd done that, right? And with the phone, you don't have to be next to the car. You can be anywhere in the world. Imagine accidentally doing it.
Yeah, true. It's a bit of a crock. And it says Victorian legislation might not allow a car to run with no one there present.
Yeah, well, we never allowed it anyway. You never allowed to. It was never legal to do it, even with the alarms.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't start it without being in the vehicle. It wasn't allowed. I remember the manual cards. So automatic you could do quite easily.
Yeah.
Manual, you had what was it? I remember there's this little servo we used to have to attach to make sure the car was in neutral when you tried starting it. It would locate. It would you use like a couple of strings, and it would work out whether the car was in neutral. And if it was in neutral, it would start it. If it was in gear, it wouldn't start it. So you don't try and jump start it into bang it into a wall or another car or something.
You remember a guy did that? He worked at the Autobahn, and he had a 300ZX twin turbo, and he had the remote start when it first came out back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And actually went through the wall there of the bloody building.
Oh, wow.
It was in gear, and he had bypassed the override or whatever it was. Pretty embarrassing.
So what did it? It went through the wall or the window?
Yeah, I said, why is your car an undercoat? He said, the remote start. It went through the wall, through the back garage car park. I think it's a bit of a crock then, this remote start, this thing going. I mean, VF Commodores had that for years, and other cars have had it. You can start the car up with the key, but
What, a VS Commodore?
The VF Commodore, yeah, it's a remote start.
And you can use it legally?
Well, I don't know. My wife's Equinox has got that remote start.
Okay, I didn't know that.
It's good on a hot day. Like, you can start it up, get the aircon going or whatever. But
so the rules must have changed for that to be allowed. Like,
I guess so. Yeah. But they're going on about this in the news. They've got this technology, BMW, where you can remote start via your phone and blah blah. But yeah, I think it's a bit overrated, really.
Yeah, other than to heat the car up, I think you turn the heater on, turn the heater seats on, something like that. I think that'd be a good idea.
Good idea. Yeah.
What do you need the car running for, really?
Yeah, you have to do a bit of a vlog to do that. Got anything else there?
On this end, no, that was it pretty much. Let me have a quick look. What do we got? See if we've covered everything. I think we covered everything at the moment.
I think we have, yeah. I think we have this for this episode.
No, kind of covered everything we need to do.
That's good.
How do you think we went for the second podcast?
Oh, well, it was pretty good considering it's a little bit different being isolated. But yeah, once the headphones are on, it's not too bad. It's
a bit hard not knowing when you're going to talk because I can't see
a little bit, but I think you just wait a little bit and then,
There's that little pause between when if you hear no one talking, you jump in.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
All right, well, that's it, I think. I think we'll call it there. And then we'll be back for number 3 next week. Yes, we'll see you back next week on the show. We'll have some car news from around the traps and some other petrol-headed topics to talk through. I need your catchphrase. I don't have a catchphrase yet. Yeah, you do. See you next Tuesday. See you next Tuesday. We'll see you next Tuesday.